Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective. In this video I'll be doing my review of NXT Battleground. So the first match on the card was the 6-woman North American Women's Championship match between Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legends, So Rucker, Fallon Henley and Mia Yim. For me, I thought this was match of the night. I thought this was great. I really enjoyed this, but I'm a big fan of ladder matches, especially multiple person ladder matches, such as Money in the Bank and just any multiple man championship match that has a ladder, pretty much. But no, it was really enjoyable. It was probably, as I say, for me, I enjoyed it most of any match on the night. For me, I was surprised that Kalani Jordan got the win here. I think it kind of made sense afterwards that they would go for a babyface champion. I thought Sol Rucker was the obvious choice of a babyface champion, so maybe they didn't want to go with the obvious. But at the same time, I probably would have gone with Lash Legend like I did in my predictions, just because I feel like she's going to be a babyface soon anyway, just because of her story with Trick Williams. But for me, yeah, I think some people had a great showing. So Sol Rucker had a good showing. Kalani Jordan didn't do a great lot in this match, but she had some really good transitional wrestling with Lash Legend at the start of the match. Lash had a good showing and took a hell of a bump, which I felt like could have been worse if she didn't land on her ass on the ladder, and she kind of took the bump, as some people have before, where they go back first and they go through the ladder. But I feel like if that was a safer way of doing it, then fair play, because obviously we don't want people getting hurt. For me, though, Fallon Henley really didn't do much, and I don't really see the point now in her turning heel, because for me, nothing about her says heel other than the fact that she has a heel attitude, and that's it. The rest of it is all very babyface. The theme is babyface. The cowboy thing is very babyface as well. I'm not sure whether they're going to change the foot for her, which is why they've kind of kept it as it is for now, but yeah, for me, it just isn't coming across as if she's a heel. And Michin, she pretty much, I think, was the person who was mostly attacked throughout the match, which is good and bad. It shows she's wanting to put people over, which is probably one of the reasons why she was put back down in NXT for a bit. But at the same time, with her still being a babyface, but Gallows, Anderson and Styles being heels, I don't know whether she'll just separate from the OC for a bit, or maybe she'll turn heel in the future, but she seems to be going to a feud with Jada Parker, who is also a heel, so I assume not. But yeah, the night itself belonged to Kalani Jordan, who became the first North American Women's Champion, which, congratulations. It's always good to be the first of anything. But yeah, it's just not the choice I'd go for. I would have probably gone with Sol Rucker to be the first champion if they wanted a babyface, which I get it, with Roxanne Perez being a heel and being the women's champion. I'm skeptical of what her title reign is going to be like, though it could be very good. I want my mind to be changed. I'm just not sure that Kalani Jordan is the name to have as the first one, because ideally they need the person to make the title, not the title to make the person, and I'm worried that this title reign is going to fall into that. Unless they do maybe a short reign and have a heel steal it, which I can't imagine they're going to do either. But yeah, I think Kalani Jordan's a questionable choice, but I want to get my mind changed, and hopefully I'm wrong about it in the end. After that, Nathan Fraser and Axiom defended successfully the NXT Tag Team Championships against the OC. And for me, I feel like, and I'm going to get onto this a bit more with the Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice match, the OC needed this win more than Fraser and Axiom did, which is a very weird position to be in as far as the OC goes. But for me, it just they needed it just because they need to get back on track. Gallows and Anderson are arguably one of the best tag teams in wrestling. It's just history-wise, championships-wise, what they've done for wrestling-wise, Bullet Club and all that stuff. So to see them kind of losing clean to an NXT team, but then want to be taken seriously at the same time, nothing against Fraser and Axiom, but I felt like the win should have gone to the OC just to get them back on track a bit. If AJ Styles is kind of heading for the WWE World, undisputed WWE Championship, then why aren't Gallows and Anderson's also holding gold at the same time? But I don't know. I don't know whether there's something to happen for the OC on the main roster from now on, or whether they'll stay in NXT. I'm not sure. But For me, I was surprised that they got the win here. I thought they were the more controlling tag team of the match. You know, when they hit Magic Killer, and I thought they were going to get the win. When Carl Anderson hit the Avalanche TKO on Axiom, I thought that was going to get them the win, and they keep kicking out, or Fraser was coming to make the save. But one thing that, again, the OC do brilliantly is splitting the ring in half. They targeted Nathan Fraser and took out Axiom very early in, and that seemed to be the way that they were going to have the match, which doesn't make the retain look great for Axiom and Fraser just because they were on the back foot so much. But as baby faces and rising against the odds and all that stuff, it works. But as you know, for me, the OC wrestled a very good match, and Fraser and Axiom stole a win, in my opinion. But there were points, though, I will say, when Fraser and Axiom I thought were going to retain earlier. I thought Axiom was actually going to choke out Luke Gallows, which I think would have shocked me even more. But I think the final sequence again was very good. The kind of fast nature of Axiom and Fraser against the more melodic and slower pace of Gallows and Anderson worked really well in the closing sequence. It is very good for Fraser and Axiom, and obviously being put over by older guys and like veterans of the business is very good. But I don't get why we're sending people who need wins to NXT, but I will get to that in a bit for Baszler and Vice. But yeah, for me, it was a good match, a good tag team match. They seem to have really good chemistry together. But for me, the wrong team won. I don't know if it's just my preference and my bias towards the OC and AJ Styles and stuff, but yeah, for me, it made more sense to have the OC get the win here than Axiom and Fraser retain. After that, we had an NXT Underground match between Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice. And for me, as much as I wanted Shayna Baszler to get the win, really, I thought that Lola was going to get the win, and I was right. For me, this was really good. This is probably like a very close second on Match of the Night for me. I very much enjoyed it. I wasn't very sure. I haven't watched a lot of NXT Underground. I've only just started getting back into watching NXT on the weekly. But this is kind of like my first live Underground match, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It made perfect sense to have the NXT Underground in the UFC Apex, as it kind of has the MMA style to it. And yeah, these two were great. I thought this was very evenly contested. Both of them were backed evenly as well when you show the video packages of people. I know they kind of told what to say probably, but you know, I thought it was really good. I think Lola Vice is going to be a future women's champion on the main roster at some point. She pretty much has everything you need to be a star. She has the appeal, she has the physique, she has an awesome moveset, and her finisher, she uses swinging back fist, which looked brutal to be fair, to finish this match, but she also has the what I know as the Black Mass, but the swinging back heel kick, hers is just as brutal as Malachi Black's, and yeah, I can't wait to see what she goes on to become in the future. But as I kind of alluded to in the OC and Fraser and Axiom match, I don't understand why we're sending main roster superstars to NXT who need wins. For me, the OC needed wins. Shayna Baszler has not been the same since that loss to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 36, and she needs to get built up again, and sending her down to NXT to put people over is probably not the best way to do that. I understand it's good in the way of like a veteran letting a younger person beat them and stuff like that, and what it does for their career, but also we need to concentrate on the fact that Baszler hasn't really done much of any significance in years at this point. You know, I know she has a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match at the weekend against Belair, Cargill and the Unholy Union, but I can't see her coming out with that match a winner either, but we'll talk about that in my predictions video later in the week. But yeah, it's just a massive shame how far Shayna has fallen, and to think that Triple H is in charge and he's the one that made her the star she is. It's just weird to see her booking now, and hopefully it changes soon, because she deserves so much more out of the main roster. You know, she should be a real threat on the main roster, and she's just not, and it's a massive shame. But yeah, the match itself was absolutely fantastic. You know, I think for me, like, the whole thing was a highlight. Like, you know, the submissions were great. I'm glad that Baszler went out via TKO and didn't submit. I feel like a submission would have hurt her even more. And obviously, yeah, the win is going to be huge for Lola Vice going forward. She's definitely a future women's champion. I've got a feeling she'll probably not be the next women's champion, but probably be a babyface win for somebody against Roxanne, and then vice might take it from there, because a heel persona fits Lola perfectly. And I wouldn't have that change at all. You know, even if she comes up to the main roster without winning the Women's Championship, you have to keep her as a heel, because it works perfectly with kind of her confidence and her swagger around just everything is so heel-like that it worked perfectly on the main roster. But yeah, for me, absolutely fantastic match. I said the right person won. I just wouldn't have sent Shayna Baszler, but I understand why they did for the UFC influence. Obviously, Shayna Baszler being a former UFC fighter herself, it makes perfect sense. It's just a bit annoying because I'm a fan of Shayna Baszler and I wanted to see her do well, but this probably didn't help her in the short run. But hopefully, something comes along for in the long run. I know for Lola Vice, she has leaps and bounds of potential that she's going to get to at some point, and it's going to be great to watch it happen over in NXT and then hopefully up on the main roster. After that, we had the triple threat match where Obafemi successfully defended the men's North American Championship against Joe Coffey and Wesley. And yeah, this was another great match and another great triple threat for Obafemi. And yeah, man, who beats this guy? Because I have no idea. They've tried triple threats twice in two premium live events. You know, we've had some great guys come up against Obafemi, Ivar, and others who I can't remember on the spot right now, and they just cannot seem to beat this guy, and I have no idea who it's going to be, but they're going to make it a massive deal when they do. And mate, Obafemi is built like a brick shithouse, and he's going to be a dominant force on the main roster when he comes up, which I assume will be soon, because, you know, putting on great North American title matches constantly, rising above everybody else on pay-per-view again for Obafemi is great. And yeah, he just, like, the potential again is limitless for Obafemi. Wesley, I think, looked really good in this one. The acrobatics in this was just really good, like, throughout, throwing himself everywhere. But we all kind of know that with Wesley when it comes to all that stuff, that it's kind of his MO, if you will. And he shows even with being out for an extended amount of time, he hasn't missed a step at all. He is just fantastic, and I've got a feeling he might bring some friends over from TNA at some point to feud with Gallus, which I'm very much looking forward to. And yeah, as for Joe Coffey, he worked the heel part of really well. I feel like Gallus getting involved was a very obvious thing to predict for this match. They did it really well. The visual of Obafemi coming up behind Gallus towards the end of the match was really good, and a really cool visual to have. And yeah, I'm glad that Gallus didn't play too much of an effect on the closing sequence. But yeah, overall, very good triple threat match once again from Obafemi. And yeah, I wonder who is going to beat this guy, because I have absolutely no clue. And it doesn't seem to be very obvious either. I think he's going to have probably one of the longest reigns as North American champion, because no one has come close, I don't think, with Obafemi since he won the title. And it's going to make him a star in NXT, and it's going to make him a real threat when it comes to the whole rest of WWE when he comes up. And yeah, it's just, again, like Load of Ice, I look forward to watching it happen, because it's going to be absolutely great. And they've really got a star in the making with Obafemi down in NXT. Following that, we had the NXT Women's Championship match between TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace and the NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. And man, what a moment it was to see Jordynne Grace in a WWE ring again, and just to have a championship match in general in WWE was really cool. As a person who's been a fan of TNA for a while, though I don't always cover it on the channel, I don't always watch it every week and all that stuff, I always keep up what's going on in TNA. And yeah, I love what they're doing at the minute. And yeah, just to see this partnership actually happening is crazy, because I remember the times where these two would never even talk about each other, never notice each other, always be rivaling and always be digging at each other or anything. So seeing this is really cool, and I'm glad that we're kind of getting this. And I do hope we get like a Worlds Collide between TNA and WWE, or TNA and NXT. But yeah, the match itself was really good, really action-packed. It was evenly contested throughout. I did feel as if the championship for Roxanne Perez wasn't in as much jeopardy as it could have been. I did question the fact of how Perez, though, like with her stature and just her physique compared to Jordynne Grace, was going to get the win here. But these two actually put on a clinic, and it was probably again one of the better matches of the night, but not quite match of the night in my opinion. And yeah, some of the power moves from Jordynne Grace is just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, Roxanne Perez kind of getting round stuff really well. You could tell that she kind of done her homework on Jordynne Grace beforehand. And yeah, it was just like a really like good, but also I want to say like an average wrestling match, but like that kind of downplays it a bit. It was just a well contested, good old wrestling match from both, and I can't complain about that at all. The finishing sequence, having Tatum Paxley steal the Knockouts Championship, and then Ash by Elegance or Dana Brooke come out. I think having one of the former WWE superstars come out and choose Ash by Elegance probably wouldn't have been my choice when you've got people like Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali on card for TNA, but I mean, it is what it is. I think she is feuding with Jordan Grace on Impact, so I suppose that kind of makes sense in a way. And Jordan Grace is doing a open challenge Against All Odds. It wouldn't shock me if Tatum Paxley was the one who answered that call. As far as the open challenge goes, I don't know whether to cover Against All Odds on here or not. I know it's only in a few days, so I don't know. I'll think about it, or put in the comments if you think I should cover TNA's Against All Odds. It looks like it's going to be a decent show, to be fair. And yeah, I think the closing sequence, I know they had all the distractions, which makes sense, like for a heel to, in Roxanne Perez, to take advantage of that. But her reversal from the Juggernaut driver into a cutter was absolutely beautiful. And she hit pot rocks, and then that was it for the end. And yeah, as I say, it was a really good match. The women had a very good showing on this card. And yeah, I think this, in my opinion, this probably should have gone on last. I probably would have put this on last just because of the historic basis of TNA and WWE working together. But I understand why they put the NXT Championship on last as well. But yeah, for me, this was a great match. Average, but in the best kind of way. Roxanne continues her dominant run as Women's Champion, and I did enjoy her interaction with CM Punk afterwards as like a digital exclusive where she called him a hypocrite. Which is true, to be fair. Like, all the stuff he said and all the stuff she's doing is what he used to do, technically. So yeah, she was right to call him a hypocrite, even though I'm a big fan of him. And finally, in the main event, we had Trick Williams successfully defend the NXT Championship against All Ego Ethan Page. And for me, yeah, this was a really good match as well. I liked the brawling start they had, and that kind of continued throughout as well, which I very much enjoyed. It was weird. It wasn't weird. It was unusual to see Trick kind of have that kind of match. It wouldn't shock me if these two had a rematch with a stipulation, maybe. But yeah, I thought for a first time showing in NXT, obviously I know Ethan Page from Impact and then AEW / Ring of Honor, and now NXT, which I think is a great signing for WWE. I feel like all ego Ethan Page is going to be really good. I think he's going to be kind of the next generation of LA Knight kind of thing for NXT. I know that LA Knight wasn't in NXT particularly long. I feel like we're going to get that kind of same, I don't know how to put it, like rising popularity eventually when it comes, except Ethan Page will do it as probably a heel rather than LA Knight doing it as a face. But yeah, I can't wait to see Ethan Page more on NXT. I'm hoping he doesn't end up falling into the same category as kind of Sean Spears has gone in, where he's come in from AEW unexpectedly, but then has kind of fallen to the mid-card. I hope Ethan Page stays in that kind of main event role because he fully deserves to be in that spot, in my opinion. And as for Trick, we got to see a different side of Trick wrestling pretty much, which was really good. I was happy to see that. I, to my brother all the time, keep calling Trick a sidekick. I'm very used to seeing him at the side of Carmelo Hayes. And yeah, but slowly but surely he is convincing me that he can be a great singles guy. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not fully invested in Trick yet. I'm not a massive Trick fan. I would have probably preferred, personally, Ethan Page winning this match, but that's just personal preference and all that stuff. But I understand why Trick has kept the title, just because he is massively over at the minute. Booker T during his entrance is just absolutely fantastic, and if that ever stops, I think it'll be very, very, very much missed. But yes, the match was really good. I think it wasn't the best match I've seen from Trick, or from Ethan either. But you know, we all saw Ethan Page versus Karate Man. I can't know whatever it was. That was probably his best match. But I don't know. I think Ethan Page can really sink his teeth into NXT, and it's going to help him massively going up to the main roster and doing stuff on WWE television. It's a shame because I really liked Men of the Year as a tag team in AEW, but no, for me, I was very happy with the signing of Ethan Page. I was hoping it wasn't an Impact signing over, sorry, a TNA signing over, and that WWE had signed Ethan Page. So yeah, for me, this was all very good, all very positive for me. I'd say. And the finish itself was really good, having Ethan Page kind of go towards the disqualification. You could see how mad he was getting, and then out of nowhere Trick hits the flying knee and gets the pin, which I thought was really good. It shows the intuition that Trick has learned over the few years he's been in NXT. And yeah, I think everything for me was really good in this one, and I'm glad to see Trick come really far, and I'm glad to see Paige in NXT. So yeah, positives all around from me. Trick continue up that era. So those are my thoughts and opinions on NXT Battleground. I thought this was a really good show. It didn't quite live up to the hype I'd built up in my own head, but that's kind of my it didn't quite rival shows such as NXT TakeOver New Orleans and NXT TakeOver Respect, but it was still very good. I thought the women had an absolutely fantastic showing in this match, which I'm all for. I love seeing women getting a good showing on wrestling events. So yeah, for me this was great. You know, having the 6-woman tag, the underground match, and then the championship match near the end. I thought All Ego Ethan Page had a really good showing in his first match in NXT. Obafemi continues to just dominate the mid-card division in NXT. It wouldn't shock me if he dropped the title, but as soon as he did, go straight into the main event scene or goes up to the main roster. And yeah, I thought that, as I said, Kalani Jordan was a surprise first women's North American champion, but I'm hoping to get my mind changed as well as my skepticism towards that. But yeah, overall, it was a very enjoyable show. Do go watch it if you haven't already. It was really good. The quality of wrestling continues to improve in NXT at every premium live event. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what they have next. I assume it'll be a weekly show special kind of thing next for them. And yeah, my next few videos are based on Clash of the Castle. I think I have a video about All In coming up as well, so, and Money in the Bank. So yeah, very busy on the channel as well. I'm almost at 200 subscribers, which is pretty cool, so thank you all for that. But I will see you guys in the next video. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.